The Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, one of the most significant gatherings of conservative activists, politicians, and thought leaders in the United States, is set to take place this week in Maryland. The event, which runs from Thursday to Saturday, will feature a star-studded lineup of speakers, including former President Donald Trump, who is scheduled to deliver remarks on Saturday. Trump's appearance at CPAC has been highly anticipated, particularly given his dominant influence over the Republican Party and the event's transformation into what some have dubbed TPAC in recent years. This year's conference comes on the heels of a decisive victory for Trump and his allies in the 2022 midterm elections, where Republicans made significant gains in key battleground states and among crucial voting blocs. As such, CPAC 2023 is expected to serve as both a celebration of these victories and a platform for shaping the future of the conservative movement. The evolution of CPAC, from ideological exchange to Trump-centric celebration, CPAC has a long history as a forum for Republican activists, candidates, and elected officials to exchange ideas, discuss policy, and strategize for upcoming elections. Founded in 1974, the conference has traditionally been a space where the various factions within the GOP could come together to debate the direction of the party. However, in recent years, CPAC has undergone a significant transformation, becoming increasingly centered around Donald Trump and his brand of populist conservatism. This shift was evident as early as 2017, when Trump, then newly inaugurated as president, delivered a keynote address at CPAC that was met with enthusiastic applause. Since then, Trump has become a regular fixture at the conference, using the platform to rally his base, attack his political enemies, and outline his vision for the future of the Republican Party. In 2021, CPAC was even held in Orlando, Florida, rather than its traditional location near Washington, D.C. As a nod to Trump's post-presidency residence in the state, the conference's transformation into TPAC reflects the broader changes within the GOP, which has increasingly embraced Trump's populist rhetoric and policy priorities, while some establishment Republicans have expressed concern about the party's direction under Trump. His enduring popularity among the Republican base has made him the de facto leader of the party. This year's CPAC is expected to further solidify Trump's dominance, as he and his allies use the event to celebrate their recent electoral successes and lay the groundwork for the 2024 presidential election. Trump's CPAC speech. What to expect? Donald Trump's speech at CPAC on Saturday is likely to be the highlight of the conference, given his track record of fiery and unpredictable remarks. Trump's address is expected to draw significant media attention and could have major implications for the GOP moving forward. Here are some key themes and topics that Trump is likely to touch on during his speech. Celebrating the 2022 midterm victories. Trump is expected to take credit for the Republican Party's strong performance in the 2022 midterm elections, particularly in key battleground states like Florida, Ohio, and Texas. He is likely to highlight the candidates he endorsed who won their races, framing the results as a vindication of his leadership and policy agenda. Attacking the Biden administration. Trump has been a vocal critic of President Joe Biden since leaving office, and his CPAC speech is likely to include sharp attacks on the Biden administration's handling of issues such as inflation, immigration, and foreign policy. He may also criticize Biden's response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. 2024 presidential election. While Trump has not officially announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election, his CPAC speech is likely to include hints about his future plans. He may use the platform to test out potential campaign themes and rally his supporters ahead of a possible run. Additionally, Trump could use the speech to attack potential Republican rivals, such as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has been widely seen as a leading contender for the GOP nomination in 2024 election integrity and the 2020 election. Trump has continued to claim that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him, despite numerous court rulings and investigations that found no evidence of widespread voter fraud. He is likely to reiterate these claims during his CPAC speech, potentially using the platform to call for further investigations or reforms to the electoral policy priorities. Trump is expected to outline his vision for the future of the Republican Party, emphasizing populist policies such as immigration restriction, trade protectionism, and opposition to woke cultural trends. He may also discuss his efforts to reshape the federal judiciary and his appointments to the Supreme Court. Other notable speakers at CPAC 2023. While Trump's speech is likely to dominate headlines, CPAC 2023 will also feature a number of other influential conservative speakers. These include Vice President Vance. Vice President Vance, who is scheduled to speak on Thursday, is expected to discuss the administration's policy achievements and the future of the conservative movement. As a close ally of Trump, Vance is likely to echo many of the former president's themes, including a focus on populist policies and a critique of the Biden administration. House Speaker Mike Johnson, RLA. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a key figure in the Republican leadership, is expected to discuss the GOP's legislative priorities and strategy for the upcoming Congress. Johnson has been a vocal supporter of Trump and is likely to emphasize the importance of unity within the party as it seeks to regain control of the House in 2024. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, who has been a prominent defender of Trump, is expected to speak on issues related to law and order, as well as the role of state attorneys general in advancing conservative policies. Bondi has been a vocal critic of the Biden administration's handling of immigration and border security, and she may use her CPAC speech to call for stricter enforcement of immigration laws. Tom Homan, Trump's border czar. Tom Homan, who served as acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, under Trump, is expected to discuss the administration's efforts to secure the US-Mexico border and enforce immigration laws. Homan has been a vocal critic of the Biden administration's immigration policies, and he is likely to use his CPAC speech to call for a return to Trump-era policies. Notable absences from CPAC 2023. While CPAC 2023 will feature a number of high-profile speakers, some notable Republicans will be absent from the event. These include Senate Majority Leader John Thune, RSD. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, a member of the Republican leadership, is not scheduled to speak at CPAC this year. Thune has been a vocal critic of Trump in the past, and his absence from the conference may reflect ongoing tensions between the former president and the GOP establishment. Senator Mitch McConnell, RKY. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, another prominent Republican, is also not scheduled to speak at CPAC. McConnell has had a contentious relationship with Trump, particularly in the aftermath of the 2020 election, and his absence from the conference may signal a continued divide within the party. CPACs versus principles. First, A clash of conservative visions as CPAC 2023 gets underway. Another conservative gathering is taking place in Washington, D.C., the Principles First Summit. This event, which is largely attended by vocal Trump critics and a handful of Democrats, represents a very different vision for the future of the conservative movement. Speakers at the Principles First Summit are expected to emphasize traditional conservative values such as limited government, free markets, and a strong national defense, in contrast to the populist and nationalist themes that are likely to dominate. The simultaneous timing of these two events highlights the deep divisions within the Republican Party as it seeks to define its identity in the post-Trump era. While CPAC has become a rallying point for Trump and his supporters, the Principles First Summit represents an effort by some conservatives to push back against Trump's influence and return the party to its traditional roots. Conclusion: the future of the GOP and the conservative movement as CPAC 2023 kicks off. All eyes will be on Donald Trump and his speech on Saturday. The former president's remarks are likely to set the tone for the Republican Party as it looks ahead to the 2024 presidential election and beyond. With Trump's continued dominance over the GOP and the conservative movement, CPAC has become a key venue for shaping the party's future. However, the divisions within the Republican Party, as evidenced by the competing visions of CPAC and the Principles First Summit, suggest that the road ahead may be fraught with challenges. As the GOP seeks to unite behind a common agenda, it will need to navigate the tensions between Trump's populist base and the more traditional conservative wing of the party. The outcome of this struggle will have significant implications, not only for the Republican Party, but also for the future of American politics as a whole. In the meantime, CPAC 2023 promises to be a must-watch event for anyone interested in the direction of the conservative movement and the Republican Party, with a lineup of high-profile speakers, including Donald Trump, Vice President Vance, and House Speaker Mike Johnson. The conference is sure to generate plenty of headlines and shape the political conversation in the weeks and months to come.